Steve Diattore is the Deputy Secretary of Technology and Innovation with Pennsylvania's Department of Community and Economic Development. They launched a program late on Thursday to be issued through Ben Franklin and the BFTDA. Steve, welcome this morning.
Thank you, Dean.
If you wouldn't mind just providing a brief overview, and any time left after Steve talks, we can certainly take a question or two for Steve or the rest of the panelists. The floor is yours, Steve.
All right, well, thank you again. So as Dean's mentioned, last Thursday, the Ben Franklin Technology Development Authority Board passed two efforts to help those tech companies and startups that have been negatively impacted by COVID. The first is the authority will be providing $1 million to each of the 4 Ben Franklin technology partners. So Southeast, Central North Penn, Northeast, and Southwest PA. And each of those $1 million will be matched by the individual partner. So you have a total of $2 million that will be able to put out onto the street through a mix, primarily through existing Ben Franklin companies, but also the possibility for those that are not in their portfolios. So just if you're not in a Ben portfolio right now, doesn't mean that you're precluded from benefiting from this effort. We hope to have the money on the street in very short order, or at least out of the Commonwealth and into the hands of the Bens. The second effort through BFTDA was a $10 million new program in the venture capacity. It's very similar to our existing venture program, except it's specifically for COVID-related loans. The eligible funds are those venture funds that are already in the BFTDA portfolio. This was done basically in the interest of time. As some of you may know, when a fund comes in for BFTDA venture loan, there is a strict due diligence process, which takes a good amount of time. And unfortunately, we just don't have the time to do that right now. So to have the money be the most impactful in the shortest order of time. So that's why the funds are available for existing Ben Franklin portfolio venture funds. The money is for PA companies only within those fund portfolios. So as of right now, the way that the standard venture funds work is companies or the funds can invest the dollars partially in out-of-state companies. For them to qualify for this program, it must be a Pennsylvania company. So the loan can come in for anywhere between $250,000 to $1 million, and the fund has to match that. So they have to pre-select the companies or pre-identify the company that is in need, come in through the state, and also provide the match. So if there's a company in a fund that the fund wants to come in for $500,000 loan through the state, they have to put up $500,000 of their own in one way or another. So that company will end up with $1 million. And that program is in the works. We hope to have it available on our website this week. We are currently since it's a new program, we sort of have to cross the T's and dot the I's here, doing that as quickly as we can. Like I said, we hope to have that up on the site soon. The final piece of this tech-based COVID relief fund is the Manufacturing Innovation Program, which is not through BFTDA. It's through the governor's Manufacturing PA line item. This is a smaller amount of money that is essentially unable to be used for the current purpose because COVID sort of hamstrung the efforts of the larger program because it is run through universities. But what it is micro grants in the amounts of $10,000 to $25,000 will be available through colleges and universities to help mitigate COVID and to encourage R&D. So an example would be, I don't know, maybe a month ago, a college reached out to us and said that they were working on creating a prototype for a low-cost ventilator, and they asked for some assistance from the state. A program like this will help that effort. So that's really what we're looking for there. And that is available now. So that is, the website is, let me just bring it up here real quick. It is manufacturingpa.org. And you can go on there right now and apply. So those funds are up and running as we speak. So with that, and then I'll just say the purpose of this, well, it's twofold. One, obviously to help those in need that were impacted by COVID, but the other is, we've heard from stakeholders and partners and companies that the first round of EIDL loans from the SBA, as well as the state's PETA program, were not, I would say, a lot of tech companies and startups didn't meet the requirements. So they were left unable to benefit from those programs. So we acted quickly and wanted to pull what state resources we could to help these businesses. So with that, I will stop talking and see if there's any questions. And then again, I apologize, but I do have a hard stop at 9:30.
Steve, thank you for that, and certainly grateful for your participation here this morning. While we're waiting for any questions to come through, I also want to thank again our other participants here this morning. Todd Bernhardt, partner with Baker Tilly, Michael Donato, Senior Vice President with Fulton Bank, Christopher Rossi, partner with Pepper Hamilton, and James Stevens, partner with Troutman Sanders. You've been a wealth of information, and Steve, thanks for capping us off with a state program that'll hopefully fill, in fact, I know it'll fill a lot of those needs. Panelists, one question that did come in that was posed, and it's a little bit of a nuance, but maybe something we can end with here. And it's from an investor in the region. It says, our understanding is if the collective employees of the VC, and by that I think they mean all investors for a company, if the collective employee number is less than 500, then the affiliation rules will not apply, correct?
I think the question is got it a little bit reversed. So the issue is, if you have a company that is controlled, let's just assume there's control by a VC fund, and that VC fund controls other companies. If the aggregate number of employees of all of those companies is 500 or fewer, then they would satisfy the requirement. It's not that the affiliation rule is inapplicable, it's that if you apply the affiliation rule and still fall below 500, then you're going to be okay.
Thank you. One of the last questions is around the acceleration of the loans. I will note, and for those on the webinar that might not be familiar with this statistic, the typical SBA program processes about $35 billion in loans a year. And they are doing 20 times that in the matter of a month. It's a lot. And so the question posed was, how will there be any acceleration of both approval and disbursement given the slowness of a number of these loans? Michael, do you have any perspective on that?
Well, I think they're probably referring to Triple P. So the approvals are happening quite quickly. I mean, we've had time to prepare for the second round of funding, so a lot of us are just ready to hit the submit button. Of course, exclusive to the fact that we tend to be limited with our approvals every hour. Also, the guidance we have been given is that we must close these loans within 10 days of receiving the SBA loan number. And every bank is trying aggressively to adhere to that standard of closing within 10 days. So, you know, as you just mentioned, this is an unbelievable product that was brought to market in a very short amount of time. And we're all trying to adjust accordingly and get money into the hands of the small business owners as quickly as we can. But that 10-day period, as far as the banks that I'm in contact with, we've all been trying to adhere to.
Terrific. Again, I want to thank everyone certainly participating in the webinar, all the great questions you asked. We're certainly focused on bringing you the most up-to-date information from experts, and encourage you to reach out around your own boards, certainly with your own professional advisors to address your specific circumstances. We will be sharing these slides. We'll share the recording of the webinar. We'll also share the Q&A. And again, want to recognize and thank our sponsors and panelists here this morning. Encourage you to fill out our survey and look for any upcoming webinars and programs. Last but not least, we leave you with one additional piece of information. The City of Philadelphia and Goldman Sachs, in partnership with Lendistry, announced a $10 million, I'll call it a carve-out for PPP loans for local small businesses. Please visit Lendistry or PIDC. PIDC is running a webinar today at 5 p.m. for access to that capital, specifically focused on small businesses that perhaps don't have access to the capital through other lenders. With that, I thank you again. Please fill out the survey, recognize or plug into any upcoming PACT programs and webinars, and have a terrific day.